Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
Okay, there you go. 1 second. I'll get that off the screen. There we are.
Hey,
there we are. Ready to go. Ready to rock on a Wednesday night.
Bob, we have one of the best shows. Ironic, for those that are watching live and those that are in New England, because the name of the show is the RVing in New England, is that outside my window, we have 4 inches of snow. It's continuing to snow. And you're upset because it was only 80 degrees today in Florida.
It's gone down to 81.
Down to 81.
It was up to 90, but it went down to 81. So
it's important to know that camping season is right around the corner, probably 3 weeks away. And we have the all-star team with us tonight. We have two of the most knowledgeable people in the entire service aspect of how to have your RV in great shape for the upcoming season. And without further ado, we need to tell.
Wait a minute. No,
we need
to have two of those all-stars, but
right.
Then we have two of the best commentators and on-screen personalities in the RV industry. So we're going to have 4 all-stars on the screen at one time.
Right. But before that, we need to say that this show is brought to you by Seacoast RV on Route 1 in Saco, Maine. They have park models. They have Winnebago Class Bs. They have more park models coming with elevation as well as crop. And they have a great store. They have, and here's the thing. If you hear something tonight that you need something new, you want to replace it before the season starts, then Seacoast Rvs is the place to go. Call them up, find out what it is. They'll hold it aside for you. And our good friends Kenny and Amanda are running the show up there. They're probably out in the plow truck about now, but nevertheless, it's supposed to be 55 degrees tomorrow, and it'll be great. So, family fun on Route 1, Seacoast Rvs.
All right, and now we will bring up the other two. I don't know if we can handle 4 all-stars all at one time. So on your bottom left, Randy Murray making his 120th appearance on RVing in New England, and the rookie, Ryan Hadley, on the right with TRIC Services. And Ryan, I think this may be your 3rd time? Second time. Okay, second time. So what we wanted to do tonight, how's the comments coming in, John?
They are already filled up that first column.
Yeah, we thought we were going to do something different. So we're going to keep all 4 of us on the screen. We're going to talk back and forth and cut each other off and create some other different stuff to do that. Randy, tell us where you are.
I currently, and it seems like every time I'm on the show, I'm in a different hotel, right? I am at the Mohegan Sun in the Sky Tower.
Yep. So the show at Mohegan Sun is Friday from 12 to 9, Saturday 10 to 8, Sunday 10 to 5 in the Earth Expo Center. And you checked it out today, made sure the Pete's RV team had everything set up and ready to rock.
So I got in a little late, but all our units are inside, so I'm pretty excited about that. And so tomorrow, that's the hard part. Tomorrow, we're just going to make them look pretty, and I got a team for that. So I'm just going to be here for moral support.
Is that Joe Gonzalez's show?
Yeah,
it is Joe's show. Yes, sir. Yep.
We'll have to take a run down there maybe on Saturday because Sunday we head to Savannah, Georgia for the Winnebago winter meeting.
Nice. Definitely stop by, John.
So maybe we'll.
Did you leave your camper down in
Florida? Joe said he'd have tickets at the booth for you, so just the routine. So yeah,
I left it in Florida, so
down and let him jump up and down on the beds and couches.
Yep, I have a feeling that show's going to be jamming because with this snow, which I know is down in Connecticut as well. Randy, you had snow there at setup, right?
It was just snowing a little bit when I came in. It's spitting now, so I don't know if we're gonna get the accumulation that you're seeing over there near the coast. But
Yep.
Ryan, you typing?
Huh?
Ryan, are you typing? Who's typing? Oh,
John?
okay.
I'm not typing.
Dealers.
I can't type.
There's a little bit of background.
We're hearing it. You got paper on your laptop, Randy?
No,
Yeah, nothing.
Bob, you got paper shuffling on your laptop?
nothing. I'm clean tonight. Nothing there. Ryan, what have you been up to these days?
Just fixing campers.
A lot of
around
them?
What was that?
A lot of them?
Yeah, it's been usually it's kind of slow in the winter, but this winter's been pretty steady. Other than the really, really cold days, we've been working pretty much every day this winter.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Oh, Ryan, you have a new machine.
Yep.
You wanna talk about that?
The SealTech Rainwater leak detection machine, and actually tomorrow I get to use it for the first time tomorrow afternoon.
Well, I'll tell you, I had mine done with the SealTech machine down at Major's RV. They were one of the only people. Randy, do you have any of those at your stores?
I built one like 20 years ago, and we have the real deal now at multiple stores.
Well, they're kind of amazing, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know what a SealTech does, I'm sure that our guests can tell you better, but I'll tell you from the layman's perspective. They pull outside air in to your unit and throw water on the outside of it, bubbly water on the outside of it. There's a bubble. It shows a leak. Now, I'm sure Jim Conboy, I see him there. Jim will tell us that so many times by the time you discover an RV leak, whether it's be in your ceiling or whether it be in your sidewalls, there's already damage that has been done. But with this SealTech's done, it's kind of like an MRI or a CAT scan. But really, Randy, right? It's early detection, and the dollar amount, every dealer charges differently. It's certainly worth it because if you've got a water leak, not only do you have financial woes, you've got cosmetic woes and possibly some structural woes. Ryan, you want to follow up on what I said?
I mean,
although I was meticulous.
My biggest thing I'm trying to get across is water damage can ruin. Well, it does ruin a camper, and if you can detect it early and try to get rid of that leak before it becomes a big problem, you're going to save yourself a lot of money, and your camper's a big investment. You don't want to ruin it.
And in New England, the window, it's not like in Florida where you can use it 52 weeks a year. If you get 20 weeks out of it in New England, you're doing well.
Yep.
From mid-April to mid-October.
I've had a lot of calls on it, and
Yep.
they're in the book, and tomorrow's actually, like I said, the first time I get to use it. I'm looking forward to it. It's a guinea pig thing for me. I took a shot buying it. I'm hoping it works out.
Oh, it'll work out because after the first one, that customer is going to tell others.
Well,
And you can go on YouTube and look. Just look up SEALTEC, right?
No, something water leak.
SEALTECH, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And see how it works. But it's
Randy,
not
have you ever
complicated home.
You guys do a lot of shows between here and your Pennsylvania and your Indiana locations. Have you ever taken a SealTech? This is just one of my crazy ideas that come to me, But have you ever taken the SealTech machine to a show and then put a sign next to it as to what it does to talk to people to try to get appointments?
I have not brought one to a show, but that might be a good idea to promote the use of them. They're positive air machines. They pressurize the inside of the camper at a higher pressure than we're going to have outside. And so spray soap on the outside of a camper like you're washing it, you will see bubbles where you have a potential leak. Yep. So it is a really neat machine, Ryan. I know you'll be very successful with it.
Yep.
Because you just get a little bit of age on them, and people. So in the Northeast, it's tough because our campers are like not up front and center for 6 months of the year, right? So they're just sitting in the back lot, and when we're not thinking about using them, usually it's we're doing something else. Well, our camper is out there on its own, Hopefully we've done enough preventive maintenance for it to get through that 6 months. And Bob, you and I have talked about this in many seminars about the proper way to take care of your camper going into the winter season. So the Seal Tech is just another piece of insurance, let's say, as a unit gets some age on it. Spring and fall, doesn't matter when you use it. Put the Seal Tech on it, exercise that thing, look for leaks and address them that way. Now, I don't feel like that diminishes the regular maintenance, and Ryan, you can probably agree with me on this, but it is another way. It's another piece of insurance before you put it away. Cheap insurance, because as Ryan mentioned, I've taken campers out of use and deemed them unsafe for human use because they had so much water damage.
Yep.
It's not only the water damage you have to worry about with the wood and stuff. It's if that leak has been going on for such a long period of time, it can create mold. And that's not good for you. Everybody knows mold is not good for your health to breathe in and stuff. It can cause you to get really sick and cause cancer. So I'm trying to push it where it's a regular maintenance thing as far as spring and fall, like Randy just said. I think it's a good idea to have a mobile tech or a shop check your camper over in the springtime and the fall time. It's a good idea for customers to also walk around your camper and check your camper after every trip to take a look at things and see what's going on. See if you see anything that doesn't look normal and have it fixed faster and quicker rather than later and more expensive.
Yep.
The identification is the important part. Campers can get wet. Just get that out there. If a camper gets wet and it's identified early on and it's treated appropriately, camper's going to be good. But it's the guys that don't identify it by, like, say, not using a Seal Tech machine or not, doing the preventive maintenance and allowing it to get behind the scenes. And that's where the real issues happen and the damage and the cost comes into effect, because then now there's a lot of stuff for like guys like myself and Ryan to repair to make them, again, safe for use, or put the floors back in them because the floors are out of them, or, taking value away from the camper, where a little bit of preventive maintenance goes a long, long way. And the Seal Tech is a great way of doing that.
It's really one of those things where a camper's, it's not if it's going to leak, it's when it's going to leak, because all the seals on the roof going down the road, everything's moving around. And if you don't get up on that roof once in a while, and check it out, it's just going to create an issue. I mean, every seal is going to need to be resealed somewhere down the road, whether it's from the sun or it's from movement going down the highways.
Hey, Ryan, let me just clarify one thing, and I know you mean it this way. When you say if you don't get up on the roof, if someone doesn't get up on the roof,
if somebody doesn't get up on the roof,
because
we don't want you up on the roof, John. We don't.
I know in my situation that I am perilously close to the weight limit on that, what I would call flimsy ladder that is on the side.
I don't know about the weight limit, but if you maybe see yourself in the roof, you might get scared and jump off.
Well, that's true, but I would fall first.
That's true.
Right, exactly. But
I want to show you how, Walter's complaining. Now, Walter is only 3 hours from me, and I was 90 today. Now, he's complaining because it was 78 where he is, humid, and 5 inches of rain. This is like in that Tampa, Orlando type belt. It's like a different country up there. The Walter, you should see the key Walter you should have brought, should have purchased a little bit further south. Well, Jim Conboy wants to know what I do.
Bob, we got a lot of comments here. Let's go back up to the start and go right down the top. How's that?
Okay, we got Jennifer saying hello. That name
Jennifer, a first time viewer.
It might be. That name doesn't ring a bell.
Jennifer, tell us where you're viewing from. Jerry, we know our friend is at Majors.
You can do the Seal Tech testing down at Majors RV also.
Yep. Walter says good evening.
Walter says good evening. Frank states, snowing, but fear not. Camping show. All right, you got to go to the camping show. Jim Roy, I'll bet it's snowing up in Monmouth, Maine too. If it's snowing where the rest of them are. Dante
is here.
He's getting excited. He's going to get his motorhome pretty soon.
Okay, we did Walter. Jim Conboy, happy snow. Jim likes it because snow means rain. Snow means water, which means leaks, which means New England RV roof.
And if it's a weekend, it means Jim and Kurt are working at some kind of show.
Is Jim at the Connecticut show?
Yes, he is. So also is Fuller, Campers Inn, Crowley, Mans, should have the list in front of me.
Okay, Jerry Plant, get the pros' thoughts on sanitizing the water system. Okay, let's talk. Let's go to the rest of these and then come back to that one because that's one.
We'll hold up on that one. Lisa's with us tonight. Hi, Lisa.
What the
Donna's
hell are
with
you
us. Glad you have that there.
Hey, look at Hawes made it on time.
Yeah, he did. Kind of early too. Yeah.
Audrey.
No snow in Texas. All right. Inside.
Air gets
It
pushed
gets
out, if I'm not mistaken.
mistaken.
Right. It pulls the air in and pushes it out. And if all the windows and doors are closed, the only way the air gets out is through any cracks and crevices. Now, that's very interesting. Audrey has dumped 2 rigs due to water issues.
Yeah.
Dante, they do that for Class A's. They do that for Class A's.
Absolutely.
Yes, Dante.
In fact, and I think either one of you can comment on this, but it's also not unusual for a purchaser of a brand new RV to get a seal test, right?
Yeah. Actually, I talked to Jeff at the Boston show from Majors about it, and they had a brand new unit come in to get a seal tech test done on it, and they found the back moldings that went up the back wall. Actually, they forgot to put butyl tape behind it and leaked like a sieve.
I think they did it on David Major when David got his new motorhome. I think they did it on David's, and they found leaks on that too. The last time he purchased a motorhome, he's had it for a while, but I'm pretty sure that they found leaks on that also.
Randy, have you guys seen it on any new units?
I haven't put one on a brand new unit. We've got a couple different ways that we identify stuff. But I guarantee that you can put a seal tech on any camper and find a leak somewhere if you put enough soap on it.
And you know what? When you study that roadway, and let's assume the RV was made in Elkhart, Indiana, it's 1,100 miles of bad road between Elkhart and New England. And that Interstate 90 is beat to heck, and especially those areas on the New York Thruway in Pennsylvania. Ohio's not bad. Indiana's not. Well, actually, Ohio's a little worse.
John, the transport guys don't take 90 because there's tolls on it, so they take worse roads.
They take 80.
Right.
It goes across.
They come through Pennsylvania, which I think is some of the worst roads in the United States.
Highway.
Yep. So, Audrey, can you get that one, Bob? Wet insulation can cause insect infestation, flying ants. Find out the hard way. Class C with a front cab window that leaked. Randy, have you experienced a insulation issue?
So anything that once water infiltrates, insulation is like a wick. It will actually pull it up, and then it starts to get in the wood and sidewalls. And it can get into the fiber, the luan behind the fiberglass, cause delam. So insulation is definitely a double-edged sword. It's a catch-22. We have to insulate things appropriately, right? But if they aren't properly maintained, that insulation will be a wick and hold on to that water for a long time. And I have seen all sorts of infects in campers that weren't properly maintained.
Yeah,
especially the roofs. The roofs that are they're luan and then the styrofoam. Those, if water gets into those, it's like a sponge, and it's just game over right there.
Yeah. Well, Lisa says, isn't it a no-brainer? Well, yes, it is, but not many people. People think they look for the roof. They stand 10 feet away from it and look up at it, and if they don't see any water, which of course they can't see from that vantage point anyway.
How's this for dedicated fans? Mr. Hawkey is on his way to a dealer dinner and probably getting to another show. He wanted to jump on just to wish me an early happy birthday. Well, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that.
Yep. Bob looks pretty good for 82, doesn't he, folks?
Getting close to 80. Not that close, but 78 is not bad. I don't mind 78. That gives me 22 more years before I hit 100.
Awesome.
Yeah. Jim Roy, preventive maintenance is the key. No brainer. Jim Convoy, Bob, can you? All the veterans, this is the way to go. Yeah.
Jim, this one?
No, Jim Convoy, 2 down from that.
Some RVs will not give you any indication that it's leaking due to a barrier under the roof decking. you need to get on the roof, walk it, feel it, and look for caulking failure. And Jim should know. He does a lot of replacement roofs. In fact, I think the only thing he does is replacement roofs. But they're growing rapidly down there. I was talking to him a couple weeks ago, and he's got to look at some more space or getting bigger and better.
I talked to Jim today.
Huh?
I talked to Jim today. Hi, Jim.
Jim's a good man, hard-working man. That's for damn sure.
Well, let's see. How many more?
We lost Randy.
Oh, we lost Randy. He'll be back. He'll be back.
Richard Robinson. Hello, Richard from St. Cloud, Florida. Glad you could join us again.
No snow here in Monmouth,
Wow.
Maine.
In the woods. Okay.
Colette joins us from Marlboro country.
Yeah.
Jennifer is in Pennsylvania. I've watched a few times when I can make it. Love the show. Thank you, Jennifer. Tell your friends. What day is your birthday, Bob? Lisa wants to know.
Tomorrow, March 10th.
We built a 35-foot travel trailer from water damage. It was actually fun. Well, only Walter could have fun rebuilding one that was damaged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say so.
Dante's planning on it. Well, either call Pete or call Ryan and avoid the line. And the good part about Ryan's situation, and Ryan doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to do a show, a special segment on our other show called the Camper Report Show on the benefits of using a mobile RV repair person. And I used one in Florida 2 weeks ago. And I'll tell you this, the fact that they came to me saved me a day of waiting at a dealership. So call Ryan.
Well, that's a good jump off to one of the other things that I wanted to do. Years ago, people thought that mobile techs were competition to the dealers. When I think the last 2 years have brought that full circle to the point where dealers are recognizing the value that they bring to the marketplace, and Ryan's recognizing the value of having the relationship with the dealers as he does for other work. So I want each of you, and we'll start with you, Ryan, but tell what's the benefit of having mobile RV technicians for consumers in today's market? I mean, everything's going crazy.
I've always said, first of all, when I've started this business, I've always gotten along with a lot of the dealerships around this area. We've all worked together really well. We give each other work. We buy I buy parts from dealerships around this area and stuff. But my belief in the benefit of having a mobile tech is where in your yard or at your campground, you see the repair getting done. If I say I'm going to be there on a Wednesday morning, we're there on a Wednesday morning. And as long as we have the parts, or I have the parts on the truck, I get the job done. If I have to order parts, I say, listen, okay, this is what you need. It's diagnosed. We'll come back, and on this day or next week when the part's in, I'll let you know. So the benefit, I believe, is the job's going to get done. And it saves you the time of hooking up your trailer, bringing it to the dealership, dropping it off, and then leaving and coming back and having to pick it up. And I'm not taking anything away from dealers that do that, by all means. It's just, it has its pros and its cons. There is some jobs where I show up and I think I brought all the right parts, or I thought I had all the right parts on the truck, and unfortunately I have to come back. But it in the long run, people like to see that the job is done. It's more of a one-on-one basis too, because not only am I the person booking the job, but I'm also the person showing up and working on your camper. I'm not sending somebody else out there. I like the one-on-one. I get to meet new people, and I've created a lot of relationships, even personal relationships with a lot of my customers over the years.
And Randy, from a dealer standpoint, obviously you sell the products and you want people to come back to the dealership. And how difficult has it been with the increase in RV sales, accommodating people, getting appointments and stuff like that?
So for a guy like me, I don't do mobile road service. I much rather have the customer come to my facility where I have just parameters I have to work with under warranty. So to be successful on that, I would much rather have a unit at my dealership, and that's what the manufacturers would like too. Now, that being said, there is always a need for guys like Ryan. And I utilize guys like Ryan in every one of the markets that I'm in because I've got customers that need something maybe before I can get to them. They need something. They don't tow their trailer. They bought a trailer, put it on site seasonally, Bob, like something like what you've got, where they need a guy like Ryan to go out to them. Ryan's going to be available more on the weekends for emergency calls and things like that. If he's not booked up already, I'm assuming you are, Ryan. If something's got like a heat or a hot water issue where I may not be as available. So there is definitely, and with, as you said, Bob, with the market, the way it's been the last couple of years, you call any dealer in New England right now, and you are not, there's guys like me, I got stores that I'm not taking any work right now because I have too much in front of me and I need to get those customers taken care of before I think about bringing in any other stuff. And that's where I would shift stuff off to Ryan if he's available. So we're playing a juggling act right now. Guys like Ryan are super important to guys like me.
I've always said there's no reason why all of us cannot get along and use each other for work, parts, and everything. Our industry is small enough, but it's also big enough where there's enough to go around, and there's also enough where we can work together. There's no reason for anybody to not, like, there's certain jobs that I can't do on site because it's an uncontrolled atmosphere environment. We do some roof work, but I really don't get involved in doing whole roofs because I don't want to play the weather game. I've done it before. It's not fun. You end up rushing. You're worried about it. There's just some stuff you can't do on site. There's pros and cons, and that's why all of us, I believe everybody has to work together.
One of the things, there's two things that I've noticed in the last couple of years with this COVID environment that have really helped solidifying the relationship between dealers and independent and mobile techs. One is that there are a lot of companies offering roadside assistance. And years ago, it was easy. Their plan was somebody calls up with a problem and say, we'll send a tow truck and we'll take you to the closest dealer. Well, you can take him to the closest dealer, but if he doesn't have any appointments for 2 months, what are you going to do? So all of these roadside assistance companies, every one of them is building up a database of independent and mobile reps. And that's who's going to get the first call. And I know Ryan does a lot of that work too. And the other is in our training programs. A majority of the trainees that are going through programs like RVTI or National RV Training Academy down in Texas, some of their classes have as many as 80% of the students being independent and mobile technicians. So that's the point where everybody has recognized the role that people play, but they also recognize that there has to be a better way of servicing the customers, and we just can't have them waiting. So a combination of the dealership activity, the independent mobile reps, and the services that they provide, both warranty services and other avenues, have really brought this whole industry together. And it was, you could almost say it was by accident. And I'm not sure that it would have happened if we did not have COVID, because we've limped along and we tried to get this ecosystem fully intact where everybody knows it. So now people know that they can do it.
One thing too, I think with gas prices going the way they are, you're going to see a lot more
people. Gas prices going up?
Oh yeah, just a little bit, nothing major. I think you're going to see a lot of people, and I don't know about if the campgrounds have discussed this, but if a lot of seasonal people, if you can get in seasonal now, but I think you might see a lot of like stay packages where you can leave your camper on the site if they're not booked up already, or something like that, where the camper might stay at the campground a lot longer, or maybe campground should, if they have the space, like I know Normandy Farms does, maybe if you camp there one weekend and you're not coming back for a couple of weeks, you can leave your camper there on site. That way these people aren't towing their camper and using as much gas as they would.
That's very popular in Myrtle Beach. It almost every campground, because people go down frequently. Florida, the same thing. We're seeing a little bit of that up in New England, but the trend that I'm seeing, we covered it a little bit last week, is I'm seeing campgrounds who have predominantly had a lot of seasonal sites, killing the seasonal sites and going back to the day visitors because they get a higher rate, they get a higher revenue per site for the traveling campers. So it's going to be very difficult. If you don't have a destination site right now, it's probably going to be very difficult to get.
I would say you could store it at Randy's place down by Normandy Farms, but there's no room in that parking lot when you take the right to go to Normandy Farms.
I just got a call saying I got another 30 showing up. I drove through there this morning before I head over here. I was like, oh, that's going to be interesting.
I was down at Normandy 2 weeks ago doing an awning motor, and I called Pete's to see if they had it because I was right down the street. They didn't have it in stock at the time, but I tried.
Well, I appreciate that.
Hey, Bob, two things. Number one, we need to do our commercial mention.
God. Wow.
And what we also need to do is to catch up on these comments. Why don't I do this? Why don't I do the commercial mention? You catch up on the comments that you want to highlight. Audrey has a very good one that she put in at 7:30 about recall work for warranty work. And I know Ryan.
Let's do the commercial.
Yep.
Now I want you to get your best radio voice.
My fake radio voice.
Right.
Okay. Hi, everybody. This is. Give me a fake radio name. How about this is Bill?
DJ Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. Hey, we've got a sponsor for the show, and it is Seacoast Rvs. They have a great camp store. They have a great selection of crop park models. Actually, they're the #1 dealer in the entire United States. They've got elevation park models coming soon, and they've got Winnebago Class B. I think they only have the Class Bs. Am I right, Bob?
Well, anything motorized, except
motorized.
From the gas up to the Adventurer. Yep.
Okay, all the gas stuff. So they can fit you in a Winnebago. And well, put it this way: I have a Winnebago, and Bob has a crop park model. So we practice what we preach here. And the thing is that they've got a great service department, and they've got a great store. So if you need parts for anything, or like what I do when I'm up there, I always get my propane filled up there because they've got a very convenient location in the back of the store that you don't have to be a contortionist to fit your vehicle in, and pull right up. They'll come out, put it right in for you, and you'll go on your way. But the beauty of
they also are specialists in diesel engine and chassis repair. Anything on a big diesel, because Kenny used to own the waste management company and brought a couple of his top technicians with him. But they can take big buses, and I've seen Prevos in there, so they can take the real big stuff. Quite honestly, that a lot of other dealers don't want to or don't have the people or the technology. But that's one of his specialties.
Again, it's a family-owned dealership. So with that being said, why don't we get back to some of these comments? You want to highlight Audrey's about?
I'll get to Audrey. Jennifer says she's got a Class C that she's actually remodeling. Sat unused for 8 years. Man, imagine what that one looked like, Randy. Oh, leaked like a sieve. That's not surprising. Still removing and replacing walls, and we'll do the roof this spring. It's inside for the winter. Jennifer, you must be a very talented woman.
You want a job?
What a job. I mean, that's almost like a total rebuild, right?
Ryan will hire her right now. I think Randy would hire her as well.
Get your applications with me.
Where are you located, Jennifer? I don't know if I caught that.
She's in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Randy's got a place in
I'm in Mountville.
Yep. I know she said Pennsylvania somewhere here.
Really? Where are you in Pennsylvania, Randy?
Right outside of Lancaster, Mountville, Pennsylvania.
It's out of Lancaster. All right.
She is from Pennsylvania. I watched a few times. Yeah, she didn't say whereabouts. Jennifer, tell us where in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I've been to
last used RV you ever got. That's not the one you're thinking of it. Is it, John?
No, that's Audrey saying that. The last Class C that they got, no, not that one. But she has a question at 7:30. Can you guys speak to recall work that needs to be done Can a mobile tech cover the work and clear the warranty? We have 3 recalls. 2 are Freightliner. 1 is a seatbelt issue, which concerns us about your grandchild, who's the cutest little boy going.
Well, I don't know. I think you'd probably be in that competition with your 6 grandchildren, and
Yeah, but it's her
you're
first.
you're making young George a video star.
Yeah.
In fact, you better get back on track, DePietro. I saw a note from Gail Hogan this morning.
Yeah, I mean,
She said, "I'm missing George. Where's George?"
I know. And I wrote back to her and I said, Wednesday there's no school, so I don't have to get him. But we'll be back with Mornings with George tomorrow. But now, Ryan, I know that you've got some warranty with certain companies, but Freightliner is a whole separate.
I don't do the chassis side.
Yeah,
the
whole
engine,
separate animal.
Drivetrain side, but I do a lot of warranty work. In fact, the reason I talked to Jim Conboy today is because him and a couple people have called me within the last couple of days as a recall on some wiring for a Norcold refrigerator from Grand Design. So I'll be taking care of those for those people. The latest one is also the propane regulators. Jayco's been calling me on those.
So mobile techs so typically a manufacturer, to satisfy a recall, wants it to come to a dealer lot, but they also realize that not everybody can get to a dealer lot, especially with the dealer body being as busy as they are right now. So for me, when I work with Jayco, as Ryan just mentioned, it's a case-by-case basis. I have to tell them why that the customer can't get to me or can't get in, or it's my fault that they can't get in. And then we would find somebody like Ryan that is more than qualified to do the job, but it has to be approved before we just go ahead and do it. And that's the way I do it with Jayco. That's what they've asked me to do. And then I do use guys with like Ryan to send out once it is approved by that warranty team that's at whatever product line you're working on, and do it that way. So the one when we do it's case by case.
And that's another reason why, because some stuff does have to be processed through the dealerships. That's another reason why I keep reiterating that we should, we all work together, because
we lost him.
Manufacturer warranty.
Back.
Okay. And there's some other really good comments here, Bob. John.
Just give me the time, John.
It is.
All right, Dante. Dante, I've been feeding that stuff along the bottom for you because Dante has the contact information.
Yeah, and Don, at 7:27. Nothing against dealers, but not having to move from your site is awesome.
Where are you?
7:27.
7:27. And who is that? Don Haas?
Yeah.
Yep.
Not having to move from your site. I'm telling you, I experienced that last week, and it was only for a de-winterization. But the fact is, I had plans to stop at Campers Inn, which is a member of New England RV Dealers Association, and they have a store right off the highway, right off the interstate highway, off I-95 in Jacksonville. The problem was it was a Sunday, so they don't do service on Sunday. So, when you're on the road, many times you're subject to weather conditions or traffic conditions. And
I've lost sound. If everybody else's stuff is working, I've lost sound.
We can hear you, Ryan.
Yeah.
So
not having to move it.
Yeah. So I want everybody to look at this note from Don Hawes, and I should have picked it. Well, it wasn't something that I would normally pick up, but the very last end of that note, rvpaa.org locate. And Ryan, have you registered on there yet? I sent that to you, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, but the National RV Training Academy has launched an association for independent technicians. And they're trying to organize them all under one database. Did you hook up your computer, Ryan? We're getting feedback.
You're on delay.
So I lost sound on my phone.
Are you back on the computer?
My wife just handed me her phone, so it might be a little time delayed.
Right, you gotta kill one of them because you're picking up some background.
There we go.
Yep, you're okay. So this RVTA, there is an effort nationwide to get all of the independent and mobile techs into an association.
All right, so
Yep. Go ahead, Ryan.
He's still on delay.
He's on delay. But so if you know of other independent and mobile techs, we will have something that's going to be under the NRVTA. So that's a good comment, Don. I appreciate you putting that in there because I knew about that and I didn't do it.
You know, Bob, let me just stop here for 1 second. And, you know, we've got comments here. And one of the things that I think has allowed this show to go on for 6 years is the fantastic audience that we have, because really we have 2 guests tonight, but we have 50 guests tonight. And every one of the people who watches us is welcome to write in. So we want to thank you so much for giving us your comments, because quite frankly, without your comments, we don't have a show.
That's right.
Thank you so much, audience. We forget to thank the audience.
I think we got off track. I think we started to talk about Audrey's comment here.
Yeah, we got that done. She's in Mechanicsburg, outside Harrisburg. I know where that is.
Okay. But can both of you address this issue about the recall work, or did I miss it?
No, they did.
We did that one.
We did.
You know, Freightliner stuff is.
Oh, the Freightliner, yeah.
That's the chassis.
Yeah.
Now, Randy, Jennifer's not too far from you, because Harrisburg isn't that far from Lancaster.
My service manager lives in Harrisburg, so yes, it's definitely within the realm.
Jennifer, are you a customer of Pete's RV in Indiana? Do you go over there looking for some of your parts and accessories, or some
Pennsylvania, Bob?
Pennsylvania? What did I say?
No, you said Indiana.
Oh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. See, when you get close to 82,
She may be a customer.
Or you need another Jack Daniels.
Yeah. Yeah, you got your bottle. You got your your glass there.
There's only one per show. This you know, we don't keep a spigot over here.
Well, you may need to up your game.
Can we talk about the need for more RV techs? I'm currently studying the RVTI level 1 course and plan to take level 2 as well, but just for my own knowledge at this time. I suggest it as a career as often as possible to folks, though it's a great industry with great people, and in my opinion is very under promoted, I guess, for lack of a better word. That is true, because
I would agree with you. It's getting better, and there is a big campaign coming because they have reduced the price on the online streaming of level 1 and level 2, and it's only $300 a year. And as long as within that year you can complete both of those courses, but there's going to be a major campaign coming from RVTI, and I know our NRVTA does a lot on social media, not so much in print stuff, but they've developed their base in social media. But you are going to see a lot more about it, and you're right. Are you also a member of the RV Women's Alliance, Jennifer? Because there are some women who are independent techs who are part of the RV Women's Alliance. And if you're not, it's rvwa.org. And they've got some meetings coming up, general meetings. But that's a great place for women to network, to meet other women in the industry and work with that. And you'll find some beneficial things there. But I know there's a couple of really great female independent techs that are associated with RVTI and with RVWA.
Yeah, Bob, we got to move on here because we got a lot left. We might not even get to them all. But Walter says auto dealerships are backed up to 2 weeks to get his Dodge Ram fixed. And now here's an interesting one. I don't know if we met Rob Boyer at Alliance, but hi there, gentlemen.
Hey, Rob, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Did we meet Rob?
Wait, John. We have to clarify that. Rob, I'm the gentleman, and then we have John DePietro. There's a separation of authority and power. You know, Yeah, he likes to think he's younger and has the good looks. But
keep in mind one thing.
Like the conversation here, agree that we need more great technicians in the field, and we support both the dealership service center and our mobile technician partners to take care of our customers. And let me tell you something. I didn't know Rob was going to join us, but I'm delighted to have him on. So say hello to all of our friends out at Alliance, Foley and Brady and Bill Martin. But if you're not familiar with Alliance RV, they developed the company before they ever built the product by crowdsourcing their ideas out to the public. And they took customer input. And I had Ab on our Camper Report show a couple of weeks ago and went over that. But I know from experience, if you watch the Alliance RV Facebook page, which is extremely active, they don't block anybody out. Whether somebody has a problem, whether it's an Alliance or something else, they address it right away. But they will also immediately get a hold of an independent tech or a mobile tech if it's outside the area. But that's probably, of all the companies that are out there right now, Keystone does a great job too. Alliance RV is really close to their customers, and the customers have an avenue where they can communicate their service issues.
Bob, did you realize that Avenue is one of their new models? Did you know that?
I do know that.
Yep.
No pun intended. I was speaking down a different.
Hey, folks, if you go to the Alliance RV Facebook page, Alliance owners, say hi to George Walker. And if you're ever in Florida and need a good ER doc, ask for George Walker.
There you go. And they got a great community there. Interesting note from Convoy here. Let's see. Grand Design dealers do not have availability for warranty work until July or August. I called Ryan as I know him and Grand Design will reimburse him. I've had Grand Designers only call me for warranty work. I'm not a dealer or RVA certified. I called Grand Design both as an owner of a hospital service shop for certain recalls and was told unless I was a dealer or certified, I could not do the work. And that's probably true on that. But in fact, my guest this week is Tommy Hall, the product manager for Grand Design for the Solitude and the S-Class products. But that's almost, Randy, I'd kind of like to have you comment on that, not as a negative against Grand Design, but I can't believe that every dealer in this country does not have any availability for warranty work in July or August. Dealers are going to take care of their customers. You want to comment on that a little bit?
So every dealer is going to do the best job they can. I'm assuming every dealer is going to do the best job they can to take care of their customers on a warranty aspect. Sometimes we can't do it in the time frame that the customer would like, or a time frame that, right now there isn't, like I mentioned earlier, there's not a dealer in New England that's not. I just ramped up production at my Vermont store. I have mandatory 10-hour days for my technicians to get prepared for the camping season. So I can't imagine a dealer out there that wouldn't want to take care of his customer base the best way we can. Unfortunately, the base is huge. As much as we hate to admit it, COVID has really affected the workforce and the supply chain still to this day. It is very much still in Indiana at the manufacturing level. I actually recently I had a part that I needed to satisfy a customer. And I had to bribe a secretary in another building to go get the part off the loading dock and put it in one of my transport guide trucks because there was no one there to put the part into the shipping truck. So I got to call in favors just to get a piece of metal delivered out here, and I still owe those favors. But so everybody is doing the best they can. We're utilizing guys like Ryan to help us. The dealer, I am, and if I'm not with Ryan, I'm going to be calling him after the show and start that conversation with him. Yes, we all want to take care of. Unfortunately, the manufacturers are not going to let every customer do their own warranty work, because if another problem arises from someone that I don't want to say was unqualified, but may not have the skills or the tools or the appropriate material to perform the job correctly, then that's on the customer, and the customer is not going to want to probably hear that. I do some of it by if it's a easy part to replace, I'll work with a customer to give them the part and have them get me the old part back. If it's a plug and play, a couple screws and a plug, I definitely. So there's lots of different ways we can take care of the customers, but I would have to say that the dealers are doing everything they can right now. Now, every customer may not feel that way, but we are working very hard and very diligently to get the jobs done.
Okay, I want to thank you, Randy. I want to go back to a couple of things here. I know we're hot and heavy on these.
The parts supply chain is
yeah. So Jennifer is not a
it hasn't
customer
caught
yet,
up at all.
Randy, but she's going to be. So I put Randy's email down there below, and I'll run that again. But if you're going to be out and going to Pete's RV, you might hit the right day, and Randy's out there, I'm sure he'd be able to buy you a cup of coffee and tell you all about Pete's. And Rob, I forget what I said, Rob. So on that, Don says Alliance definitely worth a look if you're looking at a new RV.
Well, we should state that Alliance is towable only.
No, towables and fifth wheels. Who
Right,
said
but not motorized.
not motorized?
Right.
Rob says one of his duties is to work on the relationships with our mobile partners. Are you registered, Ryan, with Alliance RV?
No, I'm not. But if you'd like to reach out to me, or I can reach out to him, and
Well, I'll get you Rob's information. We'll get you on the Alliance list also.
Yeah, they're growing and growing and growing.
Yep. I'm not a member of RVWA. Tried to join, so it could not since I don't currently work in the industry. Maybe after I pass level 1, they will let me join. I have to maintain my day job now through support of camping. All right, Jennifer, I just posted my email address. If you post me your email address, I work very closely with the RVWA, and I will talk to Susan Carpenter, who is the president, and I'm sure we can get them to make an exception for you because, number one, if you can do the kind of work that you're doing on that rig, then you ought to be in the RVWA, and you will be in the RV industry.
And Jennifer, Bob and I are both members.
Right. We help. We are.
We are.
We are indeed. Major services 6 weeks out now. What about keeping the bay open now? You're coming into the
That's for people.
You guys still going to be able to keep a bay open for emergency?
That's for travelers, Bob. They'll always keep the traveler bay open.
Right. Don says the need for more registered certified RV technicians and are expected is huge. And you're right. Everybody's doing well. They're filling up the classes at RVTI, and also
there is no more RV technicians. Every RV technician that comes across the pike right now needs to be built.
Say it again, Randy.
There is no more RV technicians. Anybody that is working on RVs right now, there is no more. Those guys are not out there. We're looking, and I'm sure Ryan has done the same thing. I'm looking for handymen. I'm looking for plumbers. I'm looking for electricians. I'm looking for auto mechanics that have a skill set and can use tools, and then I will morph them into something else, or I get them at the ground level and I put them through training myself. And, we just hired a trainer. We just hired a corporate trainer and I've had this job before. That's how I met Bob, where we are going to be training our own technicians because you have to.
Yep. Quite honestly, the better dealers and the larger, I know Campers Inn has done that same thing. They said exactly that same thing, Randy, that they're going to grow their own. They're going to bring in people to do that, and a lot of deals, RV retailers doing that. A lot of Lazy Days have been doing that for years, but a lot of dealers, you're right, are going outside this industry to find people that have the adaptability and the personality to fit into the RV industry and training them their own way. Because you can always start them lower and teach them certain steps to get up.
Yeah. Look at that stat that Don Hawes put up at 753.
I've got to check that. I put it up because it's Don, but there's too many there's false information going around about that. There's people that are saying we have one registered technician for every 4,000 customers. I don't think we're anywhere near one for every 15,000 on the road. There's no question we need them.
Randy has basically said we can't find them out there. He goes, they're not built. Right, Randy, you just said they ain't built yet. We got to create them.
Yeah.
And
The other thing in our industry is our industry currently does not require you to be certified in anything to work on an RV. That's left up to the dealer level or guys like Ryan to make sure that his people have the skill set and the QC process done by like me and guys like Ryan to make sure that the work is done appropriately and safely. But you don't need any certification. So unless it's a dealer base, like say myself, that is now I didn't require them before. We have just made it mandatory where all of our service technicians within the first 90 days of employment need to start some sort of certification process. That's something that we just brought down. And I'm sure most of the guys I talk to out there are doing some of that, but it doesn't need to happen. And that's something that has to be, and it's expensive. It's not cheap to pull a guy off the floor and or out of the shop and put him through training.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I think that's changed with the last change at RVTI, because I think the dealer price is coming down. Dealers have one price, and it allows you to have every one of your technicians go through the online streaming training. Consumers or an individual can go on now and subscribe. It's a subscription model. So it's $300, and they do it on their own time. But level 1 is basically PDI. Now you finished level 1, right, Ryan? You're on level 2.
Yep.
You're on level 2.
And that's the thing too. Like I've learned this industry from hands-on. I've learned from working on campers. I guess I'm old school, if you want to say that, where I've learned hands-on, figuring things out on my own.
Ryan, you are not old enough to be old school.
I know that, but what I'm saying is the old school.
Trying to be polite.
And I am level 1 certified. I'm currently working on level 2 certified. And I think it's you need to find people that they just have a mechanical background, somebody that, because you're a jack of all trades when it comes to campers, and it's really hard, especially these days. I don't have any employees. I have people that help me out part-time and stuff when I need help. I've been very fortunate with that. But, these bigger dealerships, it's hard to find younger kids and people that have the skill sets or even want to have the skill sets to do the camper work.
Ryan, when you open up your email after the show, you'll have an email from Rob, and he'll get you going on the process for Alliance RV.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Rob.
So where does one go to study to be an RV inspector? And go to, you can go to nrvta.org or RV. Lisa, go to rvinspection.com. Let me just throw it in here because I think they have both. They talk about the training.
Jerry did it. Jerry did it.
All right, that's the NRV. That's that, and NRV. That's a good one, and mine is also good in the sense rvinspection.com is where consumers can go and find a technician. NRVIA is where you go to get trained as a technician to do that.
Right.
And
you know what? There's careers. Even if you love the industry but don't feel as though you have any of the aptitude to turn wrenches, you can be an inspector.
Yep.
And help people buy their first RV.
Randy, tell me if I'm crazy. I mean, when I look at the dealer network, and certainly our dealers in NERVDA, and then you look nationwide, with this new change at RVTI for $300 for a technician, we all know what it costs to recruit people, to keep people, to replace people when they're there. If I'm an RV dealer, and I don't want to hire people, the first thing I'm going to say to them is, if I hire you, I'm going to pay $300 for you to take this course. And I'm going to give you 6 months. And in 6 months, you have to be certified on level 1. And if you're not, you're out of here. But if you're serious about being in the RV industry, you're serious and you have the mechanical ability and what have you, I'm going to pay that $300 for level 1. And what better way to show interest from day one with that candidate, but also show that person that, hey, this is really a career field. This is a real job.
So yes, and yes. And you are crazy.
That was the easy part.
So now the dealers, anybody right now, again with the workforce the way it is, we're doing more to gain good employees, and even more so to keep good employees, right? In the training in the old days, like when I went and got my certifications a million years ago, they took me off the floor for a week. Which that's about $1,000 of revenue a day, pulling a technician off the floor to send somebody to training. So that was the expensive part. You're not getting the income. Now, with computers the way they are, COVID has made video conferencing and video school. It's taken it to another level that we never even thought was possible.
Right.
So it has opened up a lot of doors good on that side. I think most dealers at this point, when they're bringing these people in to keep them engaged, because let's face it, when you're like in high school and you want to be an astronaut or a doctor or a lawyer, an architect, no one's saying they want to be an RV technician. I didn't even know what the hell an RV technician was when I was in high school. It was something I was brought into by accident. I was actually sitting next to Terry Shepard at a bar after doing some electrical work in his basement. He offered me a job. So that's how I am here talking to you today. But yes, the schooling has gotten a lot better, and anybody that is looking to do something with their hands, be a jack of all trades, like Ryan said, to work on an RV, you got to be a carpenter, an electrician, a plumber, a welder. You got to be an appliance guy. You got to know how to make a bed. I have sewing kits, so I sew. We bind carpets. I'm a mechanic. I can do, I can work on engines if I have to. I don't like to, but I can. So you need to have all those skill sets. So it's one of the coolest jobs in my mind. And when I'm out there recruiting, I talk about all this because when I'm done with you, you're going to know how to fix everything.
Bob,
Not one thing like a car or a washer and dryer or something. So we're looking for those guys, but it's really hard. At the end of the day, we're all engulfed in this because it's what we do and it's what we love and it's our passion. But in the real world, the RV industry is like a little pimple compared to like the car world. So that's where people are kind of focused. So I'm looking to the car world to figure out how they're getting their people, their recruits, their kids in. And that's what we're doing. And a lot of dealers are doing that. And I'm sure Ryan is going to be doing that as he expands his business as well.
4 or 5 years ago, I didn't even know training existed.
Right.
Just do it. Do it because you can do it. Hey, Bob, our associate producer, Walter Swenson, just sent us a note saying, check the time. We're 3 minutes overtime. You know what? We never really got to our the other points that I wrote down, checking tires, checking under the hood, checking the plumbing, checking the battery. We need to have these guys back again sometime.
I think, I'm even thinking maybe once a month or once every 6 weeks, because this is exactly what I had hoped for. It evolved into a roundtable discussion. We don't ever plan these things, but
you know what? That's good, Bob, because
passed on tonight.
That's good because I get tired of carrying the show week after week after week.
Your back must hurt so bad, John.
Oh, I have Zagani on my shoulder all the time. So, you know what, folks? Bob, we just need to thank our audience. We need to thank our guests. And
thank you guys.
We are so blessed to have you here every week. And you guys, you're always there. You don't hesitate to jump on if we get cancellations or what have you. So thank you both very much. And I will put your information back on the track in the comments also so people can get to you directly.
Yep. And before we say good night, we need to say thank you so much to our sponsor, Seacoast RV on Route 1 in Saco, Maine. They're great people. In Saco, Maine, for those of you that might not be aware of where it is, it's right adjacent to Old Orchard Beach. And if you're going anywhere in Maine, anywhere in the great state of Maine, it's just a short ride off Interstate 95, that little spur that takes you 195 into Old Orchard. And they'll take care of you. They'll make you happy. And they'll allow you to go RVing.
And I want to say this, and I know Kenny would not mind me saying this because Kenny and Amanda have a unique business model. But if you go to Seacoast RV and you drive up the street a little bit and look on the left hand side, there's some construction going on. Randy, you want to tell us what the construction is.
They're gonna love me. There may be a big yellow sign that says "Future Home of Pizza."
Coming soon to Maine Pizza RV. All right, thank you everyone. Really appreciate it.
Good night, guys.
Everything
Thank
we
you.
talked a little bit more. I'm going to give it a closing video, and we will see you down the road.
Happy birthday, Bob.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.